Hello everyone. In this video, we'll be refactoring the Create Line Code. If you enjoy my content, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Your support motivates me to create more videos and articles. Now let's get started. First, we will remove some private fields that were created in later methods. Next, we will remove all code from the Create Line method. Here, we'll create a variable named swdoc of type model_doc2. Then we will add an if conditional statement. In this condition, we will check if the return value of the create Solidworks instance method is false. If the return value is false, then our condition will become true and we return false and exit the create line method. Since we didn't have the create Solidworks instance method, we need to generate it. To do this, we press Control period in Visual Studio and generate the create Solidworks instance method. Here we clear any selection using the clearSelection2 method from the swdoc variable. In this line, we zoom to fit the current document using the viewZoomToFit2 method from the swdoc variable. Now we set the value of the variable message to show to sketchline successfully created. We also set the return value to true. This indicates that we successfully created the sketch line. Now we work on the create Solidworks instance method. This method takes a parameter named swdoc and sends its values to out. First, we create a variable named swapp. The type of this variable is sldworks.sldworks. Now we add an if conditional statement and check if the value of the swapp variable is null. If the value is null, we set the value of the message to show variable to failed to find Solidworks application. We also set the value of the swdoc variable to null and exit the function by returning false. Now we set the visibility of the Solidworks application to true. In this line, we call the createPartDocument method and return the value of the createPartDocument method as the value of the create Solidworks instance method. Since we didn't have the createPartDocument method, we need to create it. To do this, we press Control period in Visual Studio . Now we create a string type variable named default template and set its value using the getUserPreferenceStringValue method. This getUserPreferenceStringValue method is part of the swap variable and takes swDefaultTemplatePart as a parameter. Now we need to check if we correctly set the value of the default template variable. For this, we use an if conditional statement and the built-in string.isNull or empty method provided by .NET. If the value of the default template variable is null, or if it is empty, we set the value of the message to show variable to defaultPartTemplate is empty. We also set the value of the swdoc variable to null and exit the function by returning false. If we successfully set the value of default template variable, then we can continue. Now, we set the value of the swdoc variable. For this, we use the new document method, which is part of the swapp variable. This new document method takes 4 parameters: template, paper size, width, and height. Next, we need to check if we successfully created the part document or not. For this, we use an if statement and check if the value of the swdoc variable is null. If the value of the swdoc variable is null, we set the value of the message to show variable to failed to create new part document and exit the function by returning false. Here, we call the select sketch plane method and return the value of this select sketch plane method as the value of the create part document TAT method. The select sketch plane method takes 2 parameters named swapp and swdoc. Now we create a bool type variable named status and set its value. We use the selectById2 method to set the value of the status variable. The selectById2 method is part of the extension object, which is a property of the swdoc variable. The parameters of the selectById2 method are visible on the screen, and for more details, you can visit the article mentioned in the description. Since we created a variable and set its value by selecting the right plane in our part document, we need to check if we successfully selected the plane or not. For this, we use an if statement to check if the value of the status variable is equal to false. If the value of the status variable is equal to false, we set the value of the message to show variable to failed to select right plane. After setting the message, we close all open documents in the Solidworks application and exit the application. Finally, we exit the select sketch plane method by returning false. In this line, we are inserting a sketch into the right plane. Next, we create some variables that will be used as coordinates for creating the sketch line. Here, we create a variable named lengthUnit and set its value to the lengthUnit property of the swdoc variable. Now we need to create some interfaces. First, we create a folder named Interfaces. Next, we open the unit conversion helper.cs file and extract an interface as iUnit conversion helper using Visual Studio. Now, we need to move the iUnitConversionHelper.cs file into the Interfaces folder. After this, we open the PointViewModel.cs file and extract an interface as iPointViewModel using Visual Studio again. Similar to the iUnitConversionHelper.cs file, we move the iPointViewModel.cs file into the Interfaces folder. Select the Save All button to save changes in all files. Now, in the constructor of main window view model, we need to add another parameter, iUnitConversionHelper, and assign this parameter to a read-only private field. Next, we update all instances of PointViewModel by adding an I to make it iPointViewModel. After this, open the app.xaml.cs file to update the register types method. In this method, we register the created interfaces and their types. Now we return to the select sketch plane method. Here we call the unit conversion method from the unit conversion helper field. In this unit conversion method, we pass the length unit variable. While passing the length unit variable, we cast it into the stub length unit E type. Now we call the apply unit conversion method, which sets the values of the x1, y1, z1 SNA variables. This method takes the start point view model property and the length conversion factor property from the conversion helper variable. We also need to change the type from PointViewModel to iPointViewModel. Next, we create a copy of this apply unit conversion method to set the values of the x2, y2, z2 variables. This time, we pass the endPointViewModel property instead of the startPointViewModel property. Here, we create a new variable named sketchSegment of type sketchSegment. We also set the value of the sketchSegment variable to null. Next, we call the create line method and return its value as the value of the select sketch plane method. Since we don't have the create line method yet, we need to create it. For this, we press Ctrl+ in Visual Studio to generate the create line method. For more details on the parameters of the create line method, please visit the article. I have explained the parameters in much greater detail there. Here, we set the value of the sketch segment variable. To do this, we use the Create Line method. The Create Line method is part of the Sketch Manager parameter object. This Sketch Manager object is a property of the SW_doc variable. The Create Line method takes x1, y1, z1, x2, y2, z2 as its parameter values. If the sketch line is successfully created, we return true as the return value. We also need to verify if the sketch line was created successfully. For this, we use an if statement to check if the value of the sketch segment variable is equal to null. If the value of the sketch segment variable is equal to null, we set the value of the message to show variable to failed to create sketch line. After setting the message, we close all open documents in the SolidWorks application and exit the application. Finally, we exit the Create Line method by returning false. Now, we build the solution, and after a successful build, we run the application to open it. In this application, we change the values of the X and Y coordinates, then select the Click Me button. This action opens the SolidWorks application and creates the sketch line. Thank you for watching. If you like my content, please like the video and consider subscribing to the channel.